Salutations, lads! Exclamation point. I think everyone has accepted that GTA 6 will be 30 FPS on model consoles with better performance on next gen, whatever that looks like, and PC. But do you think that Rockstar would be interested in giving the PS5 Professional a 40 FPS VRR mode? I can't help but think that with the game now having been delayed by a full year, they've had time to explore every option. Cheers! Exclamation point. Well, that's an interesting point, right, John? Because Rockstar are going to be bringing out like this gigantically huge game, and the core audience, the majority of the audience, will be on the PlayStation 5 systems. Surely there's got to be some sort of arrangement between Rockstar and Sony to make sure that those versions are the best they could possibly be. The question is whether we're talking about 40 FPS VRR mode, which would essentially, it would have to be the 30 FPS version unlocked, possibly with some changes to resolution. Compelling or not?
Sure, absolutely compelling. And if Sony scores the marketing, campaign for GTA 6, then it would make a lot of sense to have something in there to sort of push their version over the others, right?
Mm-hmm.
But whether it would be that or attempted 60 FPS, it's really hard to say. I mean, that's the thing when talking about something like GTA 6, it's such a mystery box, right?
Yes.
Like if this was a big, say, Unreal Engine game, even if it was still very secretive, we could make more educated guesses about what it could do conceivably, right? But we just don't know anything about this current iteration of Rockstar's engine. I mean, sure, there might be some commonalities with GTA 5, but even though they've grafted a lot of new technology into GTA 5, it's still fundamentally a game from 2013, right?
Yeah.
GTA 6 is something new. So we just don't know. We just
And
don't
you
know. And
can't
they've
draw any conclusions from Red Dead Redemption 2 either, just
no,
because the
exactly.
nature of the open world is entirely different.
It's so different. I mean, they could surprise us and there's a 60 FPS in mode in there all along. Like we genuinely have no idea what it's going to be, and we won't know until they decide to share that information. Given the visual quality though, I mean, I do think a 40 FPS mode would not be unreasonable. But
It
still, I
depends
mean,
on the CPU, the CPU side of things, because your
again, that's right.
budget,
We don't know.
your budget
I
there.
will say this though, if they can launch this game at a stable 30 FPS, which I do believe will happen based on Red Dead Redemption 2, this will be the smoothest launch of GTA in history.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
every other GTA game at launch ran poorly,
Mm-hmm.
flat out, right? Like that's, GTA 5 was a PS360 game at first. It was nowhere near a stable 30 FPS on those machines. GTA 4, same problem, very, very unstable. And then, of course, the PS2 era, same problem there. I mean, it just, PS1 era was maybe a little bit closer, but that's a very different kind of experience. But if GTA 6 is genuinely like a stable 30, that will already have been a big improvement for the launch edition of a big GTA game. So I'll take it.
What do you think, Oliver?
Well, I think like Rich mentioned, I think simulation is the key concern here because
Yeah.
the spec for all the current generation consoles is pretty similar, plus or minus 15%. They're basically all the same, including PS5 Pro, which only has a 10% clock boost at least in one mode above the base PlayStation 5. That's not a huge improvement. That's less than the 33% improvement that you would need to get a stable 40 FPS versus a stable 30 FPS, assuming that you're simulation constrained, which I mean could very well be the case here. And we do know that the game will scale on the GPU to lower capability platforms because it's going to have to ship at 30 FPS on a Series S. So I'd venture that if PS5 Pro can do 40 FPS, I don't think there's a compelling reason to say that Series X or PS5 couldn't do 40 FPS with reduced visual settings. That seems like something that could occur here. But with PS5 Pro, I think the key question to me is not really the 40 FPS mode. It's just like, how does Rockstar set this game up? Are they going to use the next generation PSSR that we expect to be launched this year? Or are they going to stick with like TAA plus FSR1, which is what we suspect might be in the mix for current generation consoles based off of the showings that we've seen thus far? If they are using PSSR2 and it's as good as FSR4 and it's reasonably performant on the hardware, runs reasonably well, that seems like a much bigger deal to me. And it seems like they could probably set that up in any number of different ways, and the experience would be hugely improved over base PS5. I think it's kind of the area of interest here, and not so much like could they squeeze 40 out of it. I mean, that's kind of a question we don't know the answer to, but perhaps they could ship PSSR with this title.
Sort of nuclear option, Oliver, to go to 60. And we do have a precedent. Black Myth Wukong Fame Generation 30 to 60.
I don't think Rockstar would do that.
That sounds like kind of a miserable experience, to be honest. I hope Rockstar wouldn't do that. I think Rockstar is confident enough with their efforts, and they've shipped so many games in the past that have delivered such high visual fidelity. I think they're the one studio that could ship a 30 FPS only game, and people would be fine with it. Like they would understand it. The tremendous amount of visual accomplishment that's in that title, the incredible technical accomplishment that I'm sure it will represent. I think people would be fine if Rockstar just said this is a 30 FPS title.